In this session, we will learn about numbers. There are two basic types of numbers in Python, integers and floats. Simple numbers without decimal points have data type integer represented by int. It includes all the natural numbers. Second category is float, which includes number with decimal points. Int and float here are called data type of these numbers in Python. So the numbers without decimal points have data type int and numbers with decimal point have data type float. All operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division can be performed on numbers. For multiplication we use asterisk sign. Numbers can be added like 2 plus 3. Numbers can be subtracted like 50 minus 20. They can be multiplied by using asterisk like 1.2 asterisk 5.8. And numbers can be divided as 40 divided by 2. And result of all these expressions will be stored in variables. What are variables? Variable is a name assigned to number, and it is a name of that particular memory location in which that variable is stored. You can give variable name of your choice. It can be anything. We can use assignment operator equals to assign numbers to variables. Here we have created a variable named 20 and assigned number 20 to it. So now this variable will contain value 20 and can be used anywhere in the code. Similarly, here we have created a variable named 50 and assigned number 50 to it. We can use these variables in expressions. So now instead of writing numbers in an expression, I can use variable names. Here in this example, I have created a variable sum and store result of expression 20 plus 50 in it. So now some variable will contain number 70 as it is the result when we add 20 and 50. We can also assign negative numbers to variables. Like here I have assigned negative 80 to variable name negative. Now let's see what actually is happening in computer memory when we make a variable and assign any number to it. Everything that we do in Python has a memory location. You can think of memory location as a series of empty blocks which can store values. So when I make a variable and assign some number to it, it stores that number in a random block of memory of its choice and name that memory location as variable name. So in this example, where I have assigned number 50 to variable sum, it will store 50 in some random block of memory and name it sum, as you can see in the memory block. This description is to make your concept stronger so that you can get an idea of how things are working in background in computer's memory. Similarly, in this example, where I have assigned number 20 to variable name 20, it will store 20 in some other random block of memory and name it 20, as you can see in the memory block. We need not to explicitly define the data type of variables as we have to in many other languages like C and C++. Python automatically sets the data type of variable by looking at the value of variable. To write in power, we can use double asterisk. So 2 double asterisk 3 gives 8. That is, it multiplied 2 3 times. Similarly, 6 double asterisk 2 gives 36, as it multiplied 6 2 times. Now let's jump into code editor and write some code. Let's start by creating our first variable. I can name it 20 and assign it to a value 20. We can give a variable name of our own choice. I have given it 20. You can give it anything like number 1, number 2, first variable. I can change it to anything because it's a variable. Let's create another variable, let's say 50, and assign it a value 50. Now I will create a variable named sum and give it an expression, and I will add 20 plus 50. So what it does, it just will add the values 20 and 50 and store its result in sum. So sum will contain 70. To see the value of sum, we have to use a Python function print. I will get into the details of the Python functions in future lectures. So for just now, take it as like to print anything on the screen or in the output, we use the function named print. So whatever I will write in these two brackets here will be printed on the output. So if I write sum here, it should print the value of sum in the output. So I will quickly run this code and we will see the output. As you can see in the output, it printed 70 here. So it just printed the value of sum. So from this we know that sum contains 70 value. So if I will print like 20, it should print 20 on the screen. So as you can see in the output window, it printed 20. Similarly for 50, it will print 50. Now I can change the name of this variable to tell you that these variable names are of our own choice. We can give these names anything. So I will change 20 to like number 1, and I will print the value of number 1. So as you can see in the output, it printed 20. So it doesn't make the difference that whether what name is given to a variable. It just look at the value of that variable. Now let's look at another example. I will create a negative number variable. I will say it number 1. Let it be minus 80. Number 2, let it be 100. Now when we add these two numbers, it should give us 20. So I will make a variable named subtract and I will add these two numbers. Number 2 plus number 1. It will give us 20. So I will just print the variable subtract and we will see the output. So as you can see in the output, it printed 20 because I just added the two numbers, number 2 plus number 1. So what it actually meant is number 2 was 100 and number 1 was minus 80. So it subtracted 80 from 100 and stored 20 in the variable named subtract. So subtract, when I printed the value of subtract, it printed 20. Now I will quickly change the values of these variables and we will see the output. I will assign 2 to number 1 and I will assign 50 to number 2. So now the output should be 52. As I have run this code and we can see in the output window here that the output is 52. What if I divide these numbers? I replace this positive sign with division. So let's now what we are saying here is divide number 2, that is 50, by number 1, that is 2. I will just quickly run the code and see the output. As you can see, it returned us 25.0. Remember one thing, that division always return float. Float, as you remember from our lecture, that float is all the numbers that contains decimal point. So division will always return float. If you want to ignore the decimal point, you can use double slash. So it will, as you can see, it in the output, it ignored the decimal point and only returned us 25. Similarly, if I multiply these two numbers by replacing the sign with asterisk, it should now multiply number 2 with number 1. That is, it should multiply 50 with 2. And let's see the output by quickly running it. As you can see in the output, it printed 100. So what it does, it multiplied 50 with 2 and the result is 100. We can create as many variables as we want and perform different arithmetic operations on these variables. I can also just remove these variable names and replace them with the numbers and it will work. As you can see, it printed 100 again. Expression can also be a mixture of numbers and variables. Suppose I write 50 asterisk number 1. So now it will just multiply 50 with 2, and it is the same as we have written it previously. So as you can see in the output, it printed 100. So expression can be a combination of numbers and variables, because variables are nothing but they are a name for its particular number. So we can have an expression that is a combination of numbers and variables. And we can extend this expression like this as well. We can add number 2. So it printed 150. It multiplied 50 with number 1 and added number 2 in it. If I will add number 1 in it, let's see the output. It's 102. So it just added 2 after multiplying number 1 with 50. Multiplication, division, and subtraction are based on the priority basis. Here it multiplied the number 50 with number 1 first and then added the number 1 into the result of 50 into number 1 because it works on a priority basis. Multiplication has a higher priority than addition. So first it multiplied 50 with number 1 and then simply added number 1 to the solution. So if you want to change the priority, you can use brackets. For example, if I wanted to add number 1 and number 1 to be added first, I will just use round brackets. To the solution of this expression, it will multiply it with 50. So let's see the output. Output is 200. It multiplied 4 with 50. And 4 times 50 is 200. So you can play around with these expressions. You can create variables and perform all the calculations here. In this session, we will learn about strings. Strings are simply series of characters. Strings have to be enclosed in quotes. It can be either double quotes or single quotes. Both have same result. Declaring string is same as we declare an integer or float variable. You just have to assign the text in single or double quotes to a variable and it will be set to string. Here we have a variable name and we have assigned text Hamza to it. Text can be enclosed in single or double quotes, both have same results. These are the examples of few strings assigned to variables. Strings can be anything, single letter or word, or it can be sentence. It can also be a combination of numbers and letters. As you can see in the date example, as numbers are enclosed in quotes, so now they are part of string and they are treated as string by Python. Every character of string is at some particular index, starting from 0 to length of string. Here alphabet A in apple is on index 0 and P is on index 1 and so on for all alphabets in string. Here point to be noted is that index is also assigned to spaces in a string. In this example, after apple there is a space and its index is 5 and another space is on index 8, that is after is. There is also reverse ordering of index in Python, but it starts from -1 instead of 0. So for every index there is also a negative index. All these indexing is useful in many ways. I will discuss those in upcoming videos. Similarly, like numbers, every string has a memory location. So every letter of string occupies a block in memory location. In this example, I have assigned string Hamza to variable name. So alphabet H is stored in some random block of memory, and alphabet A to another, and so on for all the other alphabets. Now let's move to the code editor and write some string examples. Let's start by creating the first string. I will name it name. My name is Hamza. So I have created a string which has text my name is Hamza and I have assigned it to a variable name. To see that it is assigned to a variable name, we can just print this variable. I will simply print it, print variable name, and I will quickly run this. Here you can see in the output it printed the text of the string, that is, my name is Hamza. So from this we know that this text, my name is Hamza, is assigned to the variable name. Now let's create another variable. We can name it date and assign a string to it. Suppose 27th January 1993. As you can see, it's a combination of numbers and alphabets. When we enclose this in double quotes, it becomes string. It's no more numbers or anything. It's just a part of a string. So this date 27 January 1993 is complete string, complete one string that is assigned to a variable date. So I will just print date here instead of name to see whether it is correctly done. I will quickly run it. And as you can see in the output, it is 27 January 1993. It printed the string date. String can be of any length. It can be of short length, or it can be of long length. So let's create another string. I will name it long string, and we can write some long text here. This is a long string and can be of any length. So just we can quickly print this long string, and I will run it. As you can see in the output window, it printed the complete long string. So now we can create some short string. In short string, I will just write a single alphabet, let's say A. So I will print this short string here. So as you can see in the output, it printed A. So string can be of any length of your choice. You can try playing with this strings and variables, and you can create your own strings and try printing those strings. So by practicing this will make your skills stronger. In the next video, I will be telling you about operators on strings. We can apply different operations on strings, and then we can use the indexing feature of this string. So let's see this in the next video. We can use operators plus and asterisk on strings as well. The plus sign will just concatenate the string, and the asterisk sign will repeat that string for the number of times we define and will attach the string. Suppose we have two strings, one says love and the second says you. We can join these two strings, that is, we can concatenate these two strings by using a plus sign. So when we write it like this, it will join the two strings and it will make them in one string, that is, love you. And when we use a asterisk sign and define a number, for example, I have a string AB, and by using a asterisk sign which shows multiplication, I multiplied it by 3. So what it does, it repeatedly joined the string 3 times. Now let's see this in code editor. Okay, we will continue with our previous code in which we have 4 strings. Now I will try to concatenate the string name and date by using a plus operator. So I can name this string new string is equals to name plus date. So now it will combine the string name and date into a one string, that is new string, and then I will print that string new string. As you can see, IntelliSense shows us the things which we have already written. So I will just select it from the IntelliSense. These are the benefits of PyCharm. So I will just select the new string. It has suggested me that if I wanted to write this variable name, so I will just enter it instead of writing the complete string variable name there. So I will just quickly run it and see what is the output. As you can see in the output, it printed my name is Hamza, 27 January 1993. It joined the two strings name and date. But as you can see, I need to have some space between my name is Hamza. There needs to be a space. Then after that space, the date should appear. So I can just simply do a empty space. I can concatenate it between these two variables like this. So what I'm saying here is concatenate name with is space and then concatenate it with a date. So now let's see what's the output. As you can see, it added the space between the date and name. Now it says my name is Hamza, space 27 January 1993. So we can play around with these operators and try different things with that. So now I will just simply show you an example of asterisk sign, that is multiplication. So I will apply it on short string, that is A, and I will multiply it with itself for the 5 times. So let's see. I have created a variable multiply, and I will just multiply short string asterisk 5. So what I'm saying here is multiply short string with itself 5 times. So now it should print 5 A's on the screen. So the variable multiply will contain 5 A's. So let's print the multiply variable and see the output. As you can see in the output, it printed A 5 times. So the multiply variable here contains the alphabet A 5 times. So now it's a single string. The 5 A's connected is a single string and that is stored in a variable multiply. We can try it doing it with the date variable. I will just simply change it to date and I will change 5 to 2, so it should multiply date with itself and show and store it in multiply, and it will print then multiply. So I can just quickly run this code. As you can see in the output here, it joined date 2 times. It shows 27 January 1993 and then 27 January 1993. So you can try different examples with this. So I will just give another example of index. We can also get some alphabet at a particular index. As you remember from this lecture, that every character in a string is on a particular index, starting from 0 and ending at the length of the string. So all these strings have indexes. Let's suppose the string name, the variable name, has a string my name is Hamza. So M here is on index 0, Y is on index 1, and then empty space is on index 2, and so on. So every string here has a particular index. So I can also print some alphabet at particular index. For example, in date variable, I just want to print the J of January. So how I can do it? I will just print date. I will add two square brackets. Between these two square brackets, I will write the number of index, that on which particular index I want to print the alphabet. So J is on the third index because 2 is on 0, 7 is on 1, empty space is on 2, and J is on 3. So I will just simply write here 3. Now I am telling the print statement to print the date string alphabet on index number 3. So let's see what it prints. As you can see in the output, it printed J. If I will change it to 4, it will print the fourth index, that is A. So let's see. Yes, it's printed A. And we can also specify a range of indexes. For example, in a date string, I want to just print the January, not including 27 and 1993. So what I will do here is, I will tell the starting index and I will tell the ending index. So it will print January. How I can do it? I will specify the lower limit. Here, as you can see in the print statement, I have specified 4, so I will change it to 3 because I know January, J of January is on index 3. Then I will add a colon And then instead of upper limit, I will add 1 in upper limit and I will write here. So let's calculate the upper limit which I want here. I want the complete January to be printed on the screen. So I will start with 3 because J is on 3 and A is on 4, N is on 5, U is on 6, A is on 7, R is on 8 and Y is on 9. So my ending limit is 9. So I have to specify 10 here because this is a very important concept. You have to remember that in Python, whenever you are giving a limit, the upper limit is not included. One less than the upper limit is included. So it will start from 3 and end at 9. It will not include 10. This is a very important concept and you have to remember it because it will be used in our future lectures as well. Because we have to learn about a function which is named range in our future lectures and that is very important. So this concept is very simple that lower limit 3 will be included but upper limit will not be included. One less than the upper limit will be included, that is 9. So I will quickly run it and see the output. As you can see in the output, it printed complete January, starting from index 3 ending at 9, not including 10. So we can give any range here and it will be printed. So for example, in the upper string, name string, I want to just print M and Y, that is my. So how I can do it? I will start it by index 0 and end it at 2, that is 1 greater than the index of Y. I will start it at 0, end it at 2, so it will include the index 0 and 1 because M is on 0 and Y is on 1. So I will run it. Okay, we did it with the date string. So it's correct with the date string. Okay, it printed 27, the first two index. Now I can change it to name because we were supposing the name as an example. So let's run it and it printed my, as you can see. We can also leave lower limit or upper limit empty. Means that, for example, if in a name string I leave the lower limit empty, so it will include all the alphabets below upper limit. So when I will run it, as you can see, it's still printed my because it started from the 0 index and ended at 1. So I can, if I change it to like 5, so it will print my space na because it ended at the 4th index. And if I specify the lower limit, for example 5, and I do not specify the upper limit, it will include the complete remaining string after the lower limit. So it will be starting at the index 5 and then will be including the remaining of the string. So when I will run it, as you can see, it started at the index 5, that is me of name, and then included the complete remaining string. So if I try it on the long string, let's say long string, I say start at index 10 and then include the remaining of the string. So what it will do is, as you can see, it started at the long string at from the index 10 and included the remaining of the string. We can also give negative indexes, as you remember from this screen, that every string has a negative index as well. For all the positive index, there is a corresponding negative index as well in Python. But it starts in a reverse order and it starts with -1 instead of 0. So now if we work on this variable date, we have the negative index for the complete string as well. The negative index start from -1, so the 3 of 1993 from the end of the string is on -1, 9 is on -2, another 9 is on -3, and it will continue. So when we will be counting from the negative, j will come on -12. So if I want to print the January of date, I will change it to date and I will just add -12 here because j is on -12 index. So then we will count in the reverse order, that 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So y is on minus 6. So what I will do is I will write here minus 5 because we know we have to tell it 1 greater. The upper limit is 1 greater than the index we want to be printed. So let's run this code, and as you can see, it printed the January. So we can use both positive indexes and the negative indexes, but the most common will be the positive indexes. It is very rare that we require negative indexes because both have same results, so most commonly we use the positive indexes. So you can play around with these things, indexes and operators, that will improve your skills on Python. So the best way of learning is coding. The more you code, the more you learn. So do good practice of this code, try to play around. If error comes, you try to solve those, and then this will make your skills stronger, and this will help you in our future lectures.